Meow. Right, so February update. What happened in January? Let's start off with the easy place and go with books. Books wise, I said I would read one chapter a day, and I would read 2 chapters of my textbook a month. I haven't read any of my textbook. Gonna be honest, not read a single page of it. Books though, however, this is the first month in maybe out 6 that I haven't bought more books than I've finished. I've bought no books and I've finished 3. I started 4 though. So first off, started Origin of Species. I'm about halfway through. Have not finished it. It's very dense. It's more interesting than Voyage of the Beagle, definitely, but I can spend less mental energy on it at a time. Hello. I guess you're on the video now. Brontosaurus. My beloved Brontosaurus. This was a gift from Crystal for Christmas. Crystalness. It's very interesting. It's a very good primer to kind of basic concepts in paleontology. It's published in 2013, and the main kind of conceit of the book is that Brontosaurus was the original Brontosaurus specimens were decided that they were actually Apatosaurus specimens because they were reevaluated to be the same thing. And Apatosaurus was named first, therefore the Brontosaurus specimens were then known as Apatosaurus specimens. The point of this is that it's emblematic of the changes in the scientific zeitgeist, fancy words, correspond to the public's kind of fixation on the old world dinosaurs, kind of the 60s and 70s reconstruction, the big scaly dumb lizards. And the main point is that Brontosaurus was still used instead of Apatosaurus. It was like I think the early 20th century, like 1903, that it was merged with the Apatosauruses. But in 2015, Brontosauruses were recovered as a species. So take it with a bit of grain of salt. It's outdated, but not as outdated as something like the Origin of Species. On a kind of scale of 1 to 10, this is how I'm going to start doing things now. I've got a scale of 1 to 10. At 1, there's like, I'm not interested in learning anything about paleontology. And 10 is like, I'm actually going on, I'm starting the course alongside you, Tobes. I'll put this about a 2, maybe a 3 on kind of enthusiasm levels. It's a very good basic primer, as I mentioned, and kind of goes over a couple of famous events in paleontology, like the Bone Wars. And one thing I will say is it's very America-centric. A lot of the sites are like in Utah and places like that, in the States. Whereas our next book we're getting on to, Rise and the Fall of the Dinosaurs. This is by Steve Broussat. He's a lecturer of paleontology at Edinburgh University. He is American, but he's worked all over the world. This is a lot more in-depth. It goes over the same kind of concepts. Bits of paleo history and certain specimens are talked about again, but this has a much wider scope in kind of the types of dinosaurs it talks about. It starts, well, no, it doesn't start with, at the very beginning, it's got lovely illustrations as well. It starts with a family tree of dinosaurs. There's some of the illustrations. Yeah, so I would put it about a 4 at the kind of enthusiasm levels. It's another great basic primer, but it's a lot more kind of general. Being from Edinburgh, he talks about British dinosaurs as well. Well, not being from Edinburgh, lecturing Edinburgh, he talks about British dinosaurs as well. And he also talks about his works in China, the continent, There's some bits about, I think it's Transylvanian insular dwarfism, because at the time, in the, I think it's late Jurassic, early Jurassic, no, Cretaceous, whatever. At the time, it was an insular province, and there's also a bit about mammals in here. It's very interesting. I'm excited to read the sequel as well, The Rise and Reign of the Mammals. It's got a nice smiley on the front. But yeah, I don't have it. Definitely on the reading list. I would recommend this above Brontosaurus simply because it is a more kind of holistic perspective. It's also nice for on a bookshelf. It was also a gift from Crystal. This one was for my birthday though. So yeah, definitely recommend that. And he's worked with Benton, and he's also working with, I think it's James Bendel. He's one of the guys who's teaching the course next year. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the most recent paper that Bendel was in, Bruce was like the author after him or whatever. But yeah, very interesting. Would recommend. And finally, finished book. This one is less paleo, more kind of general biology. It's very good. I think that it was very interesting to me. I think for a more general reader, it'll be much less interesting. And for someone who's more kind of, yeah, dinosaurs or whatever, like stamp collector, paleontologist, terrible term, but I'm using it. I think this would be a lot less interesting because it's about the kind of molecular biology and the mechanics behind mutation instead of their effect on kind of natural selection and heritability. There's a bit of that in here, but I think it's like another perspective widener. It's really informative, and there's bits about kind of the development of polydactyly and chest wrong way round organs. Yeah, there's a bunch of biological processes that the book explains. This is winner of the 2004 Book Awards. We're talking 21 years old now. Surprised this copy's as nice as it is, to be honest. This was also bought for me by Crystal, but just kind of at random. So yeah, I think I would put it about a 6 because it is more complex, and it's not even kind of directly paleo related, but definitely an interesting read. Lots of kind of little kind of tidbits of molecular biology and kind of developmental mechanics inside the womb and stuff like that. And it kind of puts into perspective a lot of kind of changes in heritability with the selection and evolution process. And I think definitely paired with Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs, which talks a lot about kind of hip movement and where the legs on dinosaurs are and that kind of thing. It's quite informative. So yeah, I would recommend this to someone more on the biology side of the course than the paleontology side of the course. But yeah, it's all interesting. Yeah, this month I would like to finish The Origin of Species, and start The Selfish Gene, and then maybe The Red Queen as well. My to read pile is getting a lot smaller. I'll have to top it up at some point. But I'm also considering starting a Goodreads account and reviewing the books I read on there as a more kind of accessible format. Moving on to topic number 2, the one that I always talk about, housing. Freak me, bro. Boop. It's looking different to what I thought it was. I've spent most of, about 4 hours a day looking at mortgages in principle, and so I was at the beginning of the process I was thinking 170, and then I was like, okay, more realistically 150, and then I was like, I'm only going to be able to get a mortgage for about 45k, 130, and now I'm kind of only getting mortgage in principle offers, or like the maximum is I think 33,000, but I've been mostly getting about 24,000. So it's a lot of kind of... I've been crunching numbers for the last 4 hours. I would show you my numbers, but cat sat on them. Shifted with the kind of budget changes. I've shifted from 170, 150 thinking about houses to about 130 thinking about flats, and now I'm thinking about renting again. The benefit of renting being that the large investment in my LISA will continue to grow. I think I worked out in 4 years it will like double or whatever. It will double the money I put in, something like that, something crazy. It'll do well for me. Which is great, and that's going to continue doing better and better and better. But I think it's unfair to the housemate that I agreed to because it's going to end up being about 60% more expensive for them. And it's kind of, at that point, they may as well just rent privately, and it feels unfair to them. Yeah, it's like 6 of one, half a dozen the other. And then there's transferring mortgages, and at the end how much it's going to cost me, and kind of what I spend on ground rent and service fees, and I am thinking about going close to renting, because I'm thinking about going close to renting. It's a bit of a sticky one. I need to talk to multiple involved parties. I should probably get my mum's advice on it as well. But yeah, it's crazy. I never thought that this would be so hard. I think the only way that buying a house is going to be more profitable, quote unquote, than just renting for me is going to be if I just do a cash purchase of a house at like 20k, something like a real shithole. It's got good bones, and then do it up and then get all the value in it like that way. Go in now. Yeah. Yeah, otherwise it's kind of like... And then my LISA will go into my pension rather than being used my first time. And I would still keep the kind of bulk increase on that without losing out as much. So yeah, it's kind of a lot of... My recording got too large. It's a lot of kind of pros and cons on whether I want to do it this way, or whether the market is going to change in that way, or which way will mean that the investment I put in is less than I get out. And it's like, it's so complicated. Okay, the camera doesn't want to do... The camera's getting really pissy. It keeps cutting out, so I'm going to try and wrap this up real quickly. On the short of it, it's really stressful. And I'll leave it as really stressful, and it's really freaking me out. And I'll move on to the next topic. New Year's resolutions. I haven't bought any clothes. No, I bought one jacket, and it's a leather jacket. It's hung up back there. Some of you might have seen it already. So I'm doing good on not buying synthetic clothes, reducing my impact. Read books, yeah, we went over that. Not doing well. And then the third one was to do these on the first of the month, and it is currently the 6th. I am late. Whoops. Yeah, work's kicking my ass. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, in conclusion, I've got a lot of work to do this month, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it being done. I think it's really a kind of important developmental and learning process to do it, but by golly, I can't wait for it to be done. Jeez. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you on the 1st next month. Wink. I'm definitely going to be late. Well, no, I won't definitely. I'll probably be late again. And yeah, I don't know how many people watch these or even get to this point. So if you have watched this, send me the word lemon over text. Yeah. And with that, goodbye. The book was published in 2013 when the main... Let me redo that section.